I'd rather be in a meeting wanting to get high than getting high wanting to be in a meeting. Because one has hope and one is the loneliest place on earth.
My name is Isabel Donnelly. Welcome back to The Sober Spell. Today I am here with Dominic Chianese Jr. For the people that do not know you, who are you?
Well, that is my name, Dominic Chianese Jr. I am a New York City native. I am an artist. I'm a father to a 16-year-old son.
That's brave.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't be happier about it. And brave, yeah. But for all intents and purposes today, I'm a recovering addict and a recovery specialist and coach. And I work in the field and I help people.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. But what I am, well, besides fabulous.
Yeah, you don't want to know what I am.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you really? I mean, yes, but so some of those things define who I am, and then some of those things define what I do. And often I think they, our actions do define us. So, I'm part of the solution.
100%. Our actions do define us, and even in recovery, we can start slipping back into like little indecencies.
Absolutely. Vigilance is my motto, and I can't get complacent behind it because it's my enemy. And yeah, sure. Particularly in recovery, right? Like, I don't do drugs and alcohol today. It's been almost 18 years. So that's no longer my problem, right? Now it's navigating the human condition and all its, messiness with better coping mechanisms, right? So it is about not behaving in a way that is, let's just say, unsober. If you look up the word sober, one of the synonyms, the definitions basically is sanity, right? So we make sober decisions. These are sane decisions, right? And sanity, if you look up the definitions, it's one of them is consequential thinking. So that's continues to be a challenge. I've learned that my first thought is always wrong, and my second thought is suspect. Right. So I need adult supervision.
Oh yeah, I need to run all of my thoughts by before I make any decision. But now it's almost a reverse problem because I perseverate so hard on something where everyone's like, just make a choice. Just pick. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, that can also be a trap.
Yeah.
To just think about every single angle and am I doing the right thing? Yeah. And it's just like, you know what? Take a risk.
Yeah, doing my best.
Doing my best. It's actually when people ask me what I do, that's my answer. I do my best. Thanks.
I say that too. And I say when someone asks me, because I've had a bunch of people, I'm in school right now, and they're like, oh,
where?
Online.
Okay.
Southern New Hampshire University.
Okay.
I don't know what their mascot is. I was going to turn it into the camera and say, go blank. Maybe we'll
right.
edit it in later. But anytime
Do you have school spirit when you're online?
No, I have school resentment and maybe school broken spirit. When it feels like I'm logging in and they're like, write a paper, I'm like, I'm going to die. Especially doing social services.
Okay.
Because it's
Thank you, by the way, for that. And thank you for all the work you do here and at Mountainside. Fantastic institution. And
write that down.
And it's actually true. I'm familiar with you guys, and I love the work you do, and I would recommend it to anyone. But thank you for being part of the solution and using your experience to help others. Like, this is what the world needs, and thank you. I mean that.
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing, though. It's like making meaning from the pain. Like in certain instances, where it's even certain experiences I've had, like when I was in sobriety at one point, became severely anorexic, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with all of this? Like all of this pain, what do I do with this? And I ended up getting a sponsee who struggled heavily with that. And obviously before she was able to get sober, there were different instances where I was like, go to the hospital, and even just stuff like that, because I knew. And so I was able to do that. And I was like,
precisely. And that's the way I feel about it. If I can help one person, then all my pain and suffering has meaning and purpose. And that is a particularly difficult, even in the recovery space, the food issues are like the final frontier. There's still so much work that needs to be done there. And there's literally nothing I could tell somebody in that, also I don't struggle with it personally. So because you do have personal experience, you are uniquely qualified to help somebody else because you do get it. So I have years of experience, lived experience as an active addict, right? And all its, catacombs.
Yeah.
But I also have a lot of lived experience in recovery. So I know both things, and I keep it very fresh, right? Of what it was like, the voice of the disease. But I also recognize, like, I can't help everyone. There's certain things that I won't be able to really, like, if you're suffering from postpartum depression, I can't.
You're not the guy?
I've never. Yeah, right.
Well, thank God you don't brand yourself as the guy. If I saw a man online that's like, I will cure this, I'd be like, my feminine rage would well up within me.
Thank you. Yeah,
and I would
channel,
explode into like smoke. Yeah.
So know your limits.
Yeah.
If you're going into this field.
Yeah.
And there are certain things that I know, and it's important in this field to know what really will pick up your biases, right? Because people have to be honest with us, and we don't necessarily condemn them. But if you can't, that's the thing about what we do. You can't condemn, but you also can't condone, right? With ourselves and others. But there are some things, and we don't have to go into them, but I'm just like, ooh, I can't help you because I get too triggered by it.
That makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, where I'm this is too raw for me.
It's just too raw for me. And so we have to make sure that we are aware of our own humanity, because we can't, be above and beyond what our capabilities are. And but ultimately, our schooling, right, and our experience, but really our intuition. And yours is sharp.
I try. All of the computer duster didn't fry. I'm still...
Yay, inhalants.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm more functioning than anyone thought. Occasionally I'm a little twitchy, but that's just what is. No,
it's remarkable. We actually are a testament to the human condition, being able to form sentences.
Yeah, I'm like a cockroach.
Like, unbelievable. Like, we really should be like, well,
yeah,
I'm grateful.
Yeah. But so bringing it back before you had 18 years sober, when did the addiction begin for you? What did that look like?
Very young. And that's an interesting question, right? Because I don't think substance use disorder was my first, right? I believe addictions on a very basic physical level, right? Addiction by definition is if you compulsively use something and then you have, physical withdrawal symptoms, right? So anybody can be addicted to something. Not everybody's an addict, right? Like I'm an addict. So a lot of it, and like anything else, I believe is trauma based. My first addiction was sugar as a kid. I got off on stealing, right? I didn't feel good about it, but I liked the thrill. So it was this, and kids today have the same thing. These dopamine hits.
Totally.
So it's a lot of it is just basically physical. And just cigarettes were my next one. But as soon as I had mood and mind altering substances, I was using on a regular basis by 12 years old. And I tried since I was 10, right? I've been getting high since I was 10. And so we're talking about really, just like hallucinogens before my brain was even developed.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm not, so if I glitch out for a minute, you'll know, know.
If you just go nonverbal, I'll be like, guys, excuse him. He's been getting high since he was 10.
It's a 12-second catatonic state. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know anything about recovery. My generation didn't know much about it. I was first introduced to it through people in recovery who I found attractive. And I'm like, oh, wait, you're kind of like me, but you're not using anymore. And so I went to I was introduced to recovery through the rooms of the 12 steps. So I went to my first meeting and I was just like, these people use like I did and they're not anymore and they're honest. And I was 28 years old at the time. So I stuck around. I stuck around for 5 years, but I didn't necessarily follow a program, right? I just, so my thinking was, and I'm just sharing this in case anybody else has ever fallen into this, all I knew was total abuse my whole life. And then I knew total abstinence. So in my brilliant thinking, I was like, well, maybe it's all learned thinking, right? Maybe I am not an addict. So I did some more research. The results are in. It's official. Garden variety textbook. Yep. It's a conclusion. I am a garden variety addict. But, after 5 years of not using, just to share this story too, I went in and out for 8 years. So don't do it the way I did it, people. I did it wrong. But because I did it that way, I'm grateful to have survived it and blessed to be able to know all the, in plain language, bullshit.
All the pitfalls, all the little creepy crawlies you can encounter. And I think that's normal. I'm glad you talked about that because I think it's normal to get to a point in your sobriety where you're like, maybe it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because especially I got sober when I was 19. So I think around 5 years, I was like, maybe I was just a really mentally ill teenager and I can still like drink or I could still drug. And at the same time I was having that thought, another guy in my home group that got sober young had the same thought, but he acted on it. And he came back into the rooms like shaking a month later and he was like, no, it's still bad. Like, I can't do this. And
That's right.
I was like, oh, okay. Okay. I don't.
Right. And that's often what we need. And thank God those people come back. Right. Now, listen, it's not everybody's story. I mean, I have a very open mind when it comes to this. There are some general truths. There's just general modalities for the definition of what addiction is or treatments that, have proven efficacy and empirical evidence and so forth. But the trick is that it's very individual. There's X factors in every one of us, like how we become addicts or how we recover. So, my story in general is pretty much like everybody else's.
Yeah.
It was fun. And it was fun with problems. And then it was problems. And that's all it was. And I couldn't stop, particularly on my own. So anybody who has had this story, that's it in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
And what tends to happen is we start compromising everything that we hold to be sacred and true. So even if I could get high, I mean, I could. I can go to the bar right now, order a drink. They'll serve me. I'm old enough. I got $20, right?
Yeah.
I could,
Yeah.
right? And even if I wanted to, because let's face it, sometimes it looks sexy, a little bit.
Sometimes the thought will just pop
Sometimes
in.
it'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those first couple, the ease and comfort of the first couple, right? I'm trying to get my ex to look sexy. Am I calling them up? No, my God, that was a terrible relationship. So, we got to think these things through.
You could do that sober all the time.
You know what I mean? Right. And look, you still look great. Terrific. I'll be over here admiring you from a distance. And that's okay because it can look that way, but acting on it. So my point is that I might want to, but this is the kicker. Today, I don't have to. I don't have to. And there was a point where I did. I had to use. And I had to lie to everyone, even when I didn't want to. So if that freedom alone, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have choices. Right? And all I have to sacrifice is the ease and comfort of that first one, or the bells and whistles, or whatever your twist is, right? To sacrifice that. As a matter of fact, if I have any message to really give, it's like, just give yourself a break. Like, if you don't, I promise anybody who's listening, you will not wake up tomorrow wishing you got high tonight. Right? You're not going to wake up going, damn it, I should have gotten loaded. What am I going to do with all this cash and self-esteem? Right?
Yeah, I don't have enough shame this morning.
Where's my shame spiral?
Yeah.
Right. So if that alone is enough, you know what I mean? And let's face it, it wasn't really, I mean, it's all romanticized and glamorized. It really wasn't that cute. Right? It was like, oh, I miss partying. It's like, I still party, by the way.
Yeah.
I go all the time.
Yeah.
I take my son and I go to concerts, it's so much fun. And the thing is, I remember every bit of it.
Yeah.
Right? I still cringe at some of my behavior, but it's not like a full-on shame, guilt, and remorse, pit. And I think about my last party, right? I mean, we know what it looks like. You're alone.
Yeah.
You're alone in a room.
Yeah.
With the shadow people.
The Hat Man.
The Hat Man.
The Hat Man's here and I owe him money. What do I do?
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, we're really worried about you. It's like,
yeah.
We're telling the people who love and care about us the most to F off, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no party there. That's not a party.
No.
Now, it doesn't mean that you're always there. There's probably a lot of high functioning addicts. You don't have to get there. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to get there.
Yeah.
But we all know that place when we are alone in a dark room of, I need help and I don't know what to do.
Mm.
So that's one of the gifts. When I need help, I know what to do. It's a novel concept, but ready? You ask for help, and that's when recovery begins. You ask for help.
Yeah.
I mean, the next step is accepting it, right? What do you want me to do? Well, don't pick up the first one and
Yeah.
go to this place and no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, well then, let me know when you're ready to.
I know. I would do that all the time where I'd be like, I need help. Just I didn't want to be uncomfortable. I didn't want to be homeless. I didn't want to be broke. But I wouldn't, once I received that help and I got bailed out, I wouldn't do anything differently. I needed someone to stop bailing me out.
Unfortunately, yeah, we have to, we can't get between an addict and their bottom. But we can intervene and we can influence, right? And we can ultimately be a vision of hope to them. We can be a mirror, right? Like, whatever gets us into it. Like, I'll be honest, at 28, if I met you and I'm like, oh, she's in recovery, I'm curious, even if it's just my ego or whatever, or it's some, whatever gets you in, there's no wrong reason. You know what I mean? But I also know that nothing works unless it's really driven by a place of devastating pain and fear, but we might be introduced to it. So that's fine. Whatever plants the seed.
Yeah, whatever gets you in.
Right. I'm a proponent of that. But like I said, everybody has we're all going to the same place ultimately. And that's a place of freedom. But everybody's path, they got to carve it themselves.
It's so funny that you mentioned that. You just unlocked a memory. The first apartment I had in sobriety was on Worcester Street in New Haven in Little Italy.
Okay.
And it was like a brownstone. And my neighbor was always doing meth. Like, I was sober, but he was always doing meth. I'd hear him scurrying around on the roof like a little goblin, truly. And I'd be like, I'll meet you at this meeting. And he would go. He would get high after, but it got him like in the door.
Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
thanks for inviting your little tweaker goblin neighbor to it.
Yeah. I was like, maybe everyone give him like a wide berth, but he's here. He's shaky and he might don't leave your wallet out, but he's here. And God bless him.
God bless him.
Wherever he is now. He's like, my wife's taking the kids.
Yeah.
She's the worst. I'm like, I wonder why. Thank God for
worst.
her.
Yeah.
Take her. Yeah, take them.
But taking personal responsibility for our behavior is really difficult.
Oh,
but once you do, you can't and we had this conversation earlier. It's like you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, ooh.
I know.
So, listen at your own risk.
Yeah.
we're gonna say some truths that really you're not going to unhear. So sorry and you're welcome.
Yeah. Once again, write this down. And that's when you get like a moral compass back, when you get sober. Like, I remember being in rehab and using like the last of the toilet paper in the bathroom and then being like, oh, I have to go like scour for more and refill it, not just leave it empty for the next person. And that was my first time being like, oh God, because it felt I had to do it.
These are signs of a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
I remember being in my last treatment center and being outside and having a cigarette and not throwing the butt on the ground. I mean, I'm from New York City. It's what we do.
Yeah.
I actually put it out and put it in a garbage can. I was like, who even am I? But this is what we started to do. We started to realize we are not the be all end all. It is not this, self-involved, self-obsessed existence.
What was your cigarette of choice?
Marlboro Red.
Wrong answer. I was a Newport girl.
Well, I was going to say, you obviously smoked the mints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little treat.
No, you're so ghetto.
Yeah.
I love you. It's like a little treat.
Yeah, a little minty treat. And my fiance, anytime we've like relapsed on cigarettes, he's like, I'm not doing that. Stop asking. We get 27s, me in the middle.
This is, so addiction. Yeah, I'm sorry, you hit a nerve. Yeah. Addiction, continues. I'm not using mood or mind altering substances, but I'm still addicted to sugar, caffeine. Like literally, I wake up with a headache if I don't have coffee at night.
That's
bad.
Aggressive. That's aggressive.
It's really, I'm toxic with it.
Yeah.
And I had put the cigarettes down for a year, and then, for, let's just say, not getting into it, circumstances, I was just gonna have one. I'm a puff away from a pack a day.
Yeah.
every
That's
time.
not good.
So I'll fool myself like we do all the time, some element of control, this illusion. I'm just gonna have one, and then I didn't for a week, and but you could hear it in the background, dun dun.
Yeah.
It has begun.
Yeah.
I'm up to a pack a day again.
Yeah. Anytime you walk by like a bodega and you're like, oh,
Right.
oh,
And I live in the Bronx, so like there are $11 still in the bodegas. Like if I lived here and there were $18, I would have to be like,
yeah. Like financially, this will get me out of house and home. I
but then
cannot do
again,
this.
it's not like I did that like when I smoked crack and do dope either. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I can't afford this. I'm going to stop. Yeah, sure.
And so using so young and then using so hard for an extended period of time. Did you have people around you? Like, did your family, did your friends, were they concerned? Did they express concern or have an intervention or anything?
Eventually, yes. Later in my adult life, that happened. And yes, of course, as a kid, people were like, but I was a city kid, we snuck around, and also, I mean, it was fucking anarchy here in New York in the 70s. It was also like I grew up around the revolution, so, peace, love, and, drugs and sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And,
Yeah.
there was I was into the subcultures of New York, and there was a straight edge punk scene. And I never understood them. I'm like, you guys don't use at all, and you're out here like, raging with rock and roll. And so I found it fascinating, but it was already too late.
Yeah.
By the time that happened, they're still around, those guys. Still around, still performing. God bless them. So, but yes, of course, there were people concerned. I hid it well. I was enabled. It wasn't until I was in my 20s and I was in the nightclub scene and the whole, and it was great. But a couple of people started saying things like, "Yo, that's not serving you anymore, man."
That's a crazy thing to hear.
Yeah,
That's
and
like
it was really
yeah.
shameful. I felt really ashamed. I'm sorry, let me turn this off. So it stuck with me. So I got curious. But like I said, I didn't actually go to a meeting until I was bottoming out. I'd lost, my job and this blah, blah. I was going to go move to Miami because that was going to help.
Yeah, that'll fix everything.
I would have left Miami in a body bag.
100%. No one should go to Florida.
But I went because some cute girl invited me and some badass gangster said, "Dominic, just go." And so it was fear and lust. I mean, it was basically like all my character defects led me into my first meeting. But then my true self, my true nature kept me coming back. But it wasn't until later on that people were intervening. And I remember my first one, I was like, thank God, where have you been?
Yeah.
But by the fourth one, see, I'm telling you, don't do it the way I did it. But now that I've done it, I could tell you how not to do it, right? But my fourth one was like, I'm fine. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? I had resigned that I was going to die a junkie. So it was my father, God bless him, who went, Dominic, he was leaving. He went, just go for one day. And then he left. And I went, fine, I'll go for one day. Because that's made sense. And also he wasn't indulging it. He just left. Go for one day. And then he left.
And sometimes we need that.
Sometimes
I want
we need
you
that.
to let me
Left
be
your own
like,
devices. Here's my suggestion. Bye.
Yeah.
I went for one day 18 years ago. So it's been a really long day. And that's how I keep my recovery just for today. Because my disease does not care about my clean time.
Yeah.
It does not care that I have a 16-year-old son. It does not care about a damn thing.
Nope.
Right. So I have a healthy respect for it and a vigilance. But now it's not fear-driven. Now my recovery is very faith-driven. And I use that word for the terminology.
Yeah.
Right? It's a roadway.
Yeah.
It's practical. I'm not like, it's a practical word that you can apply, right? Hope and faith.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where decisions come out of fear or everything you want is on the other side. This is in the movie Donnie Darko, which is like a depressed
Great
kid
film.
essential.
I think we're living it now, but go ahead.
But
we won't go there.
Yeah, I remember watching like Donnie Darko as like a really depressed 16-year-old and being like, this is it, baby. This is my Tumblr dreams. And they talked about how it's like every decision is either made out of love or fear. And I was like, oh. And that's 100% true. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal had something. He was onto something.
Yeah, he still is.
Yeah.
We won't go down the Jake
We don't have
Gyllenhaal
to.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
That's amazing that we get these profound things from something as obscure as the film Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Frank the Rabbit. I was like,
He was the first one with the Labubu.
yeah, that is
Thank
so
you.
funny. Yeah. He was ahead of the curve. Or even, do you know Munchie Cheese?
Oh, Munchichis. Absolutely, I know Munchichis.
My mom has brought those up, and there's a blue-eyed one that kind of looks like my fiance, which he does not like when I say. But those are the original Labubus.
I called my kid a Munchichi. He was not happy with it either. He was like, "What the hell is that?" Because he was like,
Yeah.
And I showed him a picture. He was like,
Yeah, I would be, I think, a little like hurt, and maybe I would be like, ha ha, and then I would go and look in
"You
the
really
mirror and
look
be
at
like,
me like a
Yeah.
weird little monkey creature."
yeah, you
kind
think
of.
I'm a weird little like monkey humanoid?
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we all kind of are.
But we digress.
Yeah, but we digress. And so, what got you? How long were you sober when you got into the field, and what kind of brought you here?
Okay, that's a great question. Pardon me, pesky cough. Has nothing to do with cigarettes. I have a cold.
Yeah, he doesn't have tuberculosis.
and no
Guys,
TB.
stop asking. He doesn't have tuberculosis. Knock it off.
I'm Ricky, recovery support clinician here at Mountainside. We offer a healthcare professionals program for physicians, nurses, dentists, and therapists. Our team of board-certified addiction specialists provide discreet, comprehensive treatment for substance use and co-occurring disorders. We're here to help you achieve sustainable recovery with a plan built around your unique needs. Reach out to admissions at mountainside.com for more details.
I was 2 years sober when I was approached by somebody in the field, and they threw me right into it, right into the mix. This was, I was his New York guy. He was a SoCal guy, but I would go back and forth from Orange County to here. You know, I had a 1-year-old son at the time, but I would go there, live there. So I learned by doing. Now, there was very little framework. It varied from state to state, but there's very little framework to the field. You could pretty much, if a person had let's just say a sober house, they would just be like, "Here you go, you're running the show," and he would stick me in there with, a house full of dysregulated, undiagnosed and unmedicated, newly recovering addicts, and then that's why I first came across the tweakers. That was very big.
Oh,
So I was just like, "Ooh, okay," and I held my own, and I'm glad that I learned that way, because I got hands-on experience from ground up. And, I guess at 2 years, I was still thriving on chaos a little bit.
oh yeah, when you
know what I
need
mean?
that to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
It shuts your brain off. You're like, I have to act or these people are going to die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I made my mistakes. I'm probably going to make new ones. But since then, I have been through, as yourself, through different experiences with helping people, through different facilities, through different treatment modalities, through different a wide range of co-occurring disorders and so forth. So I'm very grateful for my initial, but I've been at it now for I guess it's been 15 years in one form or another. I got certified in specifically strictly this since COVID, because there was no other job to do.
Yeah. What else are you going to do?
What else are you gonna do?
That's how I got started working in treatment too. Because I was like, all of my friends work at this treatment center. I'll be able to see them. And my like cafe job had shut down.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
thank God
I was
it
in
did.
the restaurant business.
And
I was working the doors at some, schmancy places.
those are nightmares. When I was working at this cafe, it was like in the public library in New Haven. And so it was a free public library. So there was like a wide menagerie of people that would come through there.
Real intellectual professor types and the homeless.
Or it's
Gotcha.
people that are like just exposing themselves to me.
Yeah, right,
Like at
right.
the counter. Yeah.
Full on, you might as well have worked at the psych ward.
No,
Or-
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Or in the subway.
I'm like, I'm making you a sandwich. Please put
Please.
that away. Thank you. But yeah, so I wasn't mad. But that's, yeah, I think working during COVID brought a lot of people to working in substance use, or it brought a lot of people into like alcoholism.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. It was either you got better fast or you got much worse fast.
Yes.
We were essential workers. So I was no lockdown for me. I was out in the mix. So I saw what was going on in the streets of New York. It was surreal. But it gave us meaning and purpose. And I think it's in those times of crisis that the spirit of recovery really comes out. You know, I think, you know, it's beautiful. We should enjoy our lives, and we should have some peace and serenity, right? And we should have some comfort. We should have some, you know, wear our recovery like a comfortable sweatshirt as opposed to a straight jacket or a shock collar. You know, we should come to. But at the same time, I think it is important to remember that it lurks, right? And that it if it's not hitting you, you can be present for someone else who it is. You know, so it is. I mean, I don't take it lightly. I mean, obviously, I don't take myself that seriously, but I take the disease very seriously. It's life and death.
You have to. And it's even if you're not, like, if you aren't treating your spiritual condition, even if you don't go back to drugs and alcohol, it's like you are suddenly, like you're talking about cigarettes, like sex and love, codependency, all of the behaviors are going to come out. It's whatever is going to make you feel better the fastest and be like the least life-threatening, at least in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what the thing is. We start to choose a less threatening thing.
Yeah.
And I like that you pointed out that it is always something outside of ourself. I have to reach for something outside myself to make me feel better. And that's when and that's a real twist that came into my particular recovery. And I'm going to share it in case it might help someone else. Because if I don't have something outside myself occupying me, right, whether it was a resentment of the past, right, or a fear of the future, right, which is basically the problem with the past, it's resentment. It keeps getting resent, right? And if it happened before, it's never going to happen again. So the future is always fearful, right?
Yeah.
So the solution to the past is acceptance. That happened. I can't change it. And the solution for the future, the fear of the future, is faith, right? Like, okay, here's going to be a novel idea. Ready, everyone? Imagine it might work out. Wait, what? That is radical. Imagine that it might just be okay.
I know. And then when you say that, they look at you like you're Nostradamus. Right. Yeah. I had someone say that to me where I was like fretting over something. And I can do this where I just carry the weight of the world. Like I worry about the world's wrongs in a way that I can't affect it. Like I'll be in bed late at night.
Yes.
I don't sleep like a vampire, but anytime I pretend to
I like
sleep.
it. Like a corpse bride. You're kind of like,
this is what
I'm here for it. Right. Yeah. Nosferatu. I actually look. Okay.
And I'll be laying in bed and I'm like, the Sudan, like, what can I do about that? Like, literally.
And you know what? Good. You know what? I just want to say good for you.
Well, it's good to
thank you for that. You think about that because it also takes away from our own selfish, because otherwise I'm worrying about, oh my God, I made such a fool of myself at the party or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't like me. Yeah. Some petty ass selfish fear.
Yeah.
My real point was about the moment outside yourself.
Yeah.
Is when in the here and now, when you're not worrying about the past or the future, in the here and now, without booze and drugs or something outside myself, I'm just here with myself. So what do I have to work with here? And it's those pesky feelings. We have those feelings. We have thoughts that create feelings. Ew.
Yeah.
But it's the feelings that I don't want, right? I always look for a better feeling. Make me happy. Give me contentment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. Seek safety. Go where it's warm. But the feelings I don't want, and it's like everyone else. Me personally, I don't like to feel stupid.
Oh my God.
I don't want to feel inadequate. Right? I don't want to feel shame. It's a shame-based disease. Or lonely. Or all those things. So I replace it with the secondary emotion, which is anger, right? And that's what I get high on now. Without anybody else or substances, that feeling, I can get high on it. Right? I actually black out on it. Blind rage. You know what I mean? I mean, I could do stuff behind anger.
Yeah.
That would get me locked up faster than drunk driving. You feel me?
Period. Yeah, I do.
So that's what I have to deal with. So I have to think of what's the opposite of that. And that's tough. What's the opposite of anger? Not anger? Like, you know, but then I think about when I'm angry. I hate you. I hate fuck you, fuck me too. It's hate.
Yeah.
So what's the opposite of that? Love.
Love, yeah. Opposite of fear, opposite of hate. And I like that you brought that up because it's with anger, like we can get high on our resentments and get high on our anger. And when I meet with like clients, I always use the example. I'm like, if you hit me with your car, like if I was walking down the street and you intentionally hit me with your car, it is reasonable for me to be mad about that. Like, cool, I can sit on that and have a justified
This is a
resentment.
specific incident that I could be angry at. I
Yeah.
got mad that you did that to me.
Yeah, and that was like messed up and also a crime. Like, yeah, I can be mad at that. But at the end of the day, if it's like a year down the road and I'm still mad at you, who am I hurting? I'm just hurting me. And so what's the point of justified anger? And then everyone's like, oh.
Great analogy. And the difference between justified anger or just self-righteous anger or just looking for something outside yourself. And we talked about this right before we came here. You know, my relentless judging of myself and others. I find that, I'm just looking to, I mean, I could talk all this spiritual stuff, but then you put me on the 6 train for about 10 minutes and I just hating on everybody,
Yeah.
But what we talk about, it's just like, there's something about that guy I hate about myself.
Yeah. It always, anytime you have a resentment, especially working the steps ruins resentments. Cause now it's like when I'm upset at someone, I'm like, she's so attention seeking. I don't like her. I don't like her. And it's because like, I'm afraid to take up too much space. I'm afraid to ask for help and be perceived as needy. So when she's demanding she gets her needs met, I'm like, that's disgusting. Cause it's what I'm afraid to do.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's incredibly insightful. And this is the thing, we can know this stuff, but it doesn't spare us the feelings.
Oh.
So we have to learn to navigate the feelings too.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. What you just shared with me makes me respect you more. And I think that's what we lose. Mm-hmm. I think we are so afraid of being vulnerable or saying something that makes us, that humbles us. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember that it's such an important principle to humble yourself, and that actually it's makes me respect you more. It's a sign of maturity. It's a sign of strength and experience, right? To be able to say, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I need help with that. So there's a difference between being humble and being humiliated. If I am not humble, I will be humiliated. I'm telling you right now, if I don't humble myself before this disease, I will be humiliated. I will be standing on that corner, pissing my pants with $19 in my pocket.
Yeah.
Afraid to leave. That's humiliating.
Yeah, and that's the yets. I have yet to publicly urinate.
Yes, well.
It could be on the way.
Oh, it's almost a given.
Yeah, is it?
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. So, it's like this kind of like,
Yeah.
How bad is it? Right? Like if I can go do a list of like what I don't have, these unmet desires, get angry at that, feel bad about myself, and then I have to bring myself around to like, I'm not pissing myself in a blackout. Right? Or I'm not sweating behind the blinds.
Yeah.
Because
because they're coming.
They're coming.
Yeah.
Or I'm not like, nodding out at a family function on dope and benzos, saying I'm fine. What's she talking about? And my mother's heart is breaking.
Yeah, nodding out on a public bus.
Oh, good looks.
Yeah. It's not cute.
No, it's not cute.
Yeah, and then I was like, why do people at my sober house think I'm getting high? I don't get it. You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, girl, we saw you.
And that's the thing. We have to lie when we're using. Mm-hmm. So if I don't have to lie, that's enough. And I just got to say this out loud. It is such, there's a lot of things so if you don't use steps or whatever, there's plenty of modalities that work for individuals. If you don't think you're an addict, there's plenty of theories about what addiction is. Mm-hmm. I know what it's not. And it's not freedom.
Mm. Yeah.
Right? And it's not a way to live. And it's not a creative process. It's a destructive process. Right? So if you are creative, do it. Be creative. Mm-hmm. If you are in fear, take an act of faith. It's an action word. If you are alone, reach out. People ask me, what's the number one thing? Ask for help. Reach out, tell somebody you're struggling. Mm. There's no shame. The shame is if you're a distant, sad memory, like so many of us are. Mm. So many of us. Right now, we laugh at our stories now, which is great. I think we should. But there's somebody alone and dying from this disease right now and doesn't know that there's help.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I'm grateful. I know that feeling. So if you're here, if you're high now and you're hearing this, Good. Good. You're hearing this. If you know, I remember being in meetings, wanting to use. And I always remember that. I'd rather be in a meeting wanting to get high than getting high wanting to be in a meeting. Because one has hope and one is the loneliest place on earth.
That's when I relapsed after being sober for like 6 months. And it was the first time I ever got sober. I was blackout drunk, but everyone told me, they're like, you were crying and just saying, I need to be sober. I need to be sober. And I was like, at the time I was like, oh, that's weird, and brushed it up. But looking back, I feel so much pain for that person.
So much pain for that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm literally crying now, and
Yeah.
I don't care. So that's another thing. This right now, sitting here with tears on my face.
Mm-hmm.
I used to fancy myself a real badass. You know what I mean? Kind of a punk rock gangster.
Yeah, you got the
whatever.
bandana, you got the
No, I was a
sunglasses.
badass.
Yeah.
But I was always sensitive. I always cared. This right here, feeling this in front of you and not trying to make it go away. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling that, this is the hardest thing I got to do. I'd rather take a punch. I'd rather take a punch than feel this in front of people.
And be vulnerable.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
So all that fake tough guy shit, it's a lie. I'm not afraid of who sees me like this. I'd rather be this guy.
Yeah, instead of obsessing over controlling how I'm going to be perceived.
How I be perceived, how I feel, right? Lean into it. If you're sad, you're sad.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're depressed, you're sad,
Mm.
right? If you're angry at something, or frustrated, doesn't mean you're filled with rage. You can get frustrated. We can identify these feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we're wired for social. If you're lonely, go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really wish, I got to say this, the problem is so often so complicated. The solution is often so profoundly simple that it eludes us, right? Take that action to counteract what you're feeling. It's a biopsychosocial disease. You've learned all this. So biologically, my nervous system, my monkey brain is all wired to use because I'm going to die if I don't, it's literally physical. And we have to learn self-regulation techniques and so forth. Psychological, right? Once again, my head lies to me in my own voice, and I want to believe it. You're fine, or like, you're worthless, voices cries out for failure. The better I do sometimes, it's like, oh, you're fine, you can do it again. Or if I'm doing terrible, it's like, see, you're worthless. Like it's relentless. And then, of course, the social thing, right? We are wired for social. My disease isolated me, even in a room full of people. Yeah, I've never been more alone in my life.
Yeah.
So those are the things, we need connection. Connection is indeed stronger than addiction. I'm going to say that again. Connection is stronger than addiction. And sometimes an action will relieve so much anxiety.
And I love what you said about like the narrative that we tell ourselves, because I get that way too. Not as often as I used to, for sure.
We get better.
But I find it's like when I care about something, like doing this, like working on this, sometimes I'm like, I should just quit because everybody hates me. And I'm like, I don't want to be perceived. Or like I've been good at this and suddenly I'm going to be really terrible at it. So it's time for me to go.
Any minute now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like I can have a volume of evidence to like say otherwise. But in my head, I'm like,
right.
I'm
And that's why
tricking
we
everyone.
need to. That's right. And that's why we need to check in.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, being like Hollywood adjacent and having connections, did that prolong the use, and did that lead to enablement or normalization of like what you were doing?
I'm definitely going to say normalization and actually even glorification, right? And romanticizing. I mean, it was fabulous, right? Once again, I grew up in an era where a lot of this stuff was being discovered, right? So like the 70s was psychedelic and the 80s was cocaine, and then the 90s was like heroin chic, that environment. But yes, absolutely. I picked the two most enabling businesses, the nightclub industry and show biz. It was almost expected of you, right? It also insulated me. I mean, we were with people who were kind of untouchable. And we were talking about this during our technical difficulties. But because I was in that environment, first of all, because I was in New York City in such a chaotic time, I kind of flew under the radar, right? Because I was traveling with certain people, we could be, excluded. Cops didn't want to deal with some punk kid smoking weed on the corner and writing graffiti. They'd smack you around, take your shit, and send you off. But the real thing is like, I used to think I was clever or it was just like whatever, but I was like, no, it's because I was a white dude.
100%.
And, if I was a person of color or if I was not in a certain environment that was insulated, I would have been through the system a dozen times.
Yeah, and I think it's important to acknowledge that privilege too, because especially when it comes to like relate and not compare, like everybody's experience is different, and like everyone's experience is influenced by like the biopsychosocial, like you were saying, where we come from, what we look like.
And because I was selling drugs to rock stars, right, or getting high with, in penthouses instead of, I also got high on the pavement, but you get the idea. So one thing also it did was it prolonged the agony. We get away with a lot of things, you know what I mean? But then it was just like years of like, what are we really getting away with? It started off at some fabulous party, but it ended up with me alone chugging NyQuil, trying to come down from like some nasty crank, like whatever. Like crank is speed that we used to do. But anyway, you get the idea.
I think we are just meant to meet. I would drink Delsum to come down from meth. And then I would be like, I'm in hell. I'm in hell.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we would have gotten along famously.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing. Like here we are getting along. It probably would have started that way, but it would have ended up like that. It was just like, right. And then if I ran into you on the street, I'd be like, oh, geez, that girl's in the men's. I can't talk to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what happens in recovery because we'd be like, hey, remember when we were? Yeah. Sorry. Okay, cool. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, okay, I can move on with my life, but please.
And also, so I read an interview of yours because I do.
Oh. You do your research.
I do. I'm very professional. I'm good at like internet stalking or like deep diving on ancestry for people. Like,
no kidding.
Yeah, I get tasked with that because I'm just obsessive. But now this gives me an avenue to do it where I'm like, this is my job. I'm not just wasting
well done.
time.
See, we were just talking about this. We can use our somewhat obsessive qualities or that might have been used for nefarious reasons in the past and actually turn them into an asset.
100%. Yeah. Now a lot of the kind of, I don't know, the fake it till you make it social skills I use to like get high, I now use to like, I don't know, be good and like charming in professional situations.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. It's
I see right through your little act, sister.
Yeah. Yeah, he was berating me outside. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But so in this interview you talked about, they asked about different, like what would your wishes be basically for the treatment industry? And you talked about accessibility being a main thing, like, and how if you had it your way, looking at it from, I don't know, like being able to serve the populations that need serving, people on like state assistance not having access, or people without insurance not having access to like good health care, and how that's something that's incredibly important to you, which me too.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's important to every single person in this country.
I would hope.
So I'll avoid going down the whole failed healthcare system, but I won't avoid saying that it's available to you. Mm-hmm. It's available to you today because of some other reasons. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're detoxing, go to the emergency room. Mm-hmm. Benzos, detoxing from alcohol, it's dangerous.
You could die.
You can die. So go to the emergency room. So that's necessary. But as far as recovery help, yes, I needed time and distance. I needed treatment, right? Probably more than once. Mm-hmm. But the first time I did it, I went into the 12-step rooms. Okay. So whatever ones work for you is fine. And it was available for free around the clock, because what we have available to us is an altruistic movement that goes beyond synthetic knowledge, medicine, religion, psychiatry. None of it was sufficient. I'm saying they're not great and we need them. And a lot of us need outside help. But I walked into those rooms and the therapeutic value of one addict helping another, I believe, is without parallel.
100%. You talk about that too, where it's almost like the bullshitter. Yeah.
Bullshit.
You can't bullshit a bullshitter, and working in treatment and being like real in that way, because you could totally tell who's in recovery and who's not.
Yeah, you could help me. You think
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you for your credentials?
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're getting them because there is always more to learn.
Well, I'm not getting a licensure. I'm in school just to prove something to myself, to prove that I can do it.
Fabulous. You're going to see
Essentially.
something through.
But yeah, but I'm also learning a lot. But it's also like the burden of knowledge. Like I don't want to know how like poverty is an issue, could be fixed, but we're just not. Like I don't want to think about it, and I am now.
Yeah, unfortunately, the veil is being lifted and we're all exposed to a lot of things that we'd rather not know.
Yeah.
And once again, because we're sharp and because we're not dulling ourselves or crushing, because of that, we're incredibly sensitive to it. And that's okay. We should be. We need you to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need you to be. So thank you. But it's our trials, right, as you put it?
Trials and tribulations.
Yeah. And I'd rather do this because honestly, any work that I've done in recovery, as hard as it might be, it's nothing compared to the work I did to stay high.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you think it's difficult to stay clean, try staying high. Like I think about 18 days of maintaining my habit. It's exhausting to imagine. 18 years? Oh my God, I'd be... So that's what I just want to tell people also. It's easier to stay clean than it is to stay high. As a matter of fact, it's impossible to stay high. I try.
Yeah, you try, and then you're already crying. So you're like, this is going to be out in a day, and I'm already anxious about that, despite having what I have.
That's all my entire life. I was anxiously chasing oblivion.
Yes.
Those are my two feelings.
Yeah.
So we have to lean into a lot of other feelings, right? And even in the course of this conversation, we've experienced them all.
Mm-hmm. Every
Right?
stage of grief.
Every stage of grief.
Yeah.
But also just like, joy, where we could laugh. I had tears in my eyes a couple of times.
Yeah.
I feel disgust for the general state of things. Mm-hmm. But yes, accessibility is really important. There's no stigma around, not as much stigma around being an addict anymore. It doesn't have to be a secret. And there are places that will at least help you in the beginning on a charitable, let's say, level, because they know that you're going to be an upstanding citizen and a member of society, which it's remarkable because I'm going to say this. Society would have written us off.
I would have been lobotomized had I been born like 50 years
1800s,
earlier.
yeah.
Like,
Society would have written us off.
Yeah.
Put us behind a wall. Hopeless. Imagine.
yeah, I read the bell jar, and I was like, oh,
Soviet Platt.
yeah.
Perfect
Yeah.
example.
Oh, yeah.
So, to know that we would have been shut out from society, and now that we are the ultimate weapon against a deadly disease, is empirical evidence
Yeah.
of the miracle of this. So if you're looking for evidence if this works, ta-da!
Yeah.
Here it is.
Jazz
We don't have to
hands.
use today.
Yeah.
Wasn't always the case. OD'd in the park. OD'd at a cafe not 2 blocks from here.
We're busy people.
Busy. We were busy.
Schedule packed. Family ashamed.
She had loved to go to the whole wedding / funeral thing, but
Yeah.
it's funny. We could laugh, and like I said, well, we should.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to take civilians,
Yeah.
as I call them, into meetings, like when it's an anniversary or something, they go to a 12-step meeting for the first time, and somebody's like, I got my dick out for crack, and everybody just laughs, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And they're sitting there like,
Yeah.
why are you laughing? That's horrible.
Yeah. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's where I was last
So I was-
Wednesday.
sorry about the language, but there's
Yeah.
no pretty words to describe the shit we do.
Yeah.
And then, and I'll tell you this, something else I noticed when they leave, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. You guys have that. You have this place to go where you could talk about this and that program of living. That's what a great designer. Reminded me of so many other ancient wisdom, And they're like, I wish I had that, right? And I go, well, the seats are expensive. But you know who hates meetings the first time they go? Addicts, people who need it.
Yeah. 100%.
We're ridiculous.
Yeah, we're an exhausting group of people to be around.
So what'd you think of the meeting? I don't need that.
Yeah. It was a gratitude meeting. I hate that topic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I was that guy too. I would have walked in my first meeting and you were speaking. I'd be like, okay, there, puppy. What are you going to tell me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I probably spilled more than you ever used.
Yeah,
you know
then
what I
I'm
mean?
like, and then I
that.
overdosed on PCP in the park.
Right.
And then you're like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. What a young girl goes through out there,
It's not good.
it's not good.
No.
And I'm going to humble myself and be like, I don't care what kind of, you know, whatever I went through. It's nothing compared to sometimes. And I have to remember that. Like, sit down and shut up and learn from this girl, dude, because she's stronger than you'll ever be.
That's very nice of you. All right.
I see you.
See you too.
And I appreciate you. And I
yeah.
appreciate you guys asking me to be here. And I hope we help somebody today.
I know. And thank you for being here. I'll put my sunglasses on to close this thing out.
Okay, hold on, me too.
Yeah. And where can people find you for the people that want to find you? Like on socials or whatever?
You know, I have a LinkedIn page. I work for myself. I mean, I work for other people. I do stuff for people. Don't ask any questions. No. But my company's called Recovery. Stages Recovery.
Okay.
Stages Recovery. And my name is Dominic Chianese Jr.
Period. Thank you for being here.
No, it's been my pleasure. Product placement. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you. And thank you, Paul, cameraman that nobody ever talks to.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, Mountainside can help. Call 860-365-6764 to speak with our caring treatment team.